Latisha Scott has once again found herself at the center of controversy, as fans and critics are calling her out for showcasing unfinished business projects. Many believe that she may be overpromising and underdelivering, leading to a significant backlash on social media. This situation is getting more complicated as receipts are being dropped and fans are starting to question the legitimacy of her ventures. For context, Latisha Scott, known for her role on Love and Marriage Huntsville, has built a reputation as a savvy businesswoman with her hand in multiple projects, including real estate investments, property development, and business expansions. However, a consistent issue has been her announcement of ambitious projects that seem to never come to fruition. Fans are starting to notice a troubling pattern. Big plans are teased, but they rarely seem to materialize. One of the most talked about examples is a highly publicized commercial development project. Latisha and her husband, Celeb Scott, promised it would be a game changer for Huntsville, featuring retail spaces, office buildings, and other new businesses. Fans were initially excited, but months and even years later, no significant progress has been made. Instead, social media updates have featured photos that look almost identical to those taken before the announcement, leading many to wonder if the project was ever funded in the first place. This situation isn't an isolated incident. Fans have pointed out that Latisha frequently shares images of business expansions or real estate developments that appear to be in the very early planning stages, yet they are presented as if they're nearing completion. One particularly notable example was a supposed business expansion that, months after it was announced, still looked the same in recent pictures with no visible signs of actual construction. This has led some fans to speculate that Latisha may be using these announcements strategically, timed right before a new season of Love and Marriage Huntsville, to stay in the public eye rather than actually focusing on completing her projects. Critics are accusing her of presenting half-baked ideas as fully realized concepts in order to attract investors or secure funding. The pattern of making grand announcements that quickly fade into the background has left many questioning her credibility as a businesswoman. Fans have started labeling her as all talk, no action, and accusing her of misleading the public. The lack of updates or real proof of progress has certainly damaged her reputation. Latisha has defended herself, responding to the backlash with claims that business projects take time and that work is being done behind the scenes, even if the public can't see it yet. She has insisted that patience is necessary and that things will come to fruition in due time. However, some of her explanations have done little to convince the public, especially given the repetitive nature of her announcements. She continues to introduce new ventures without addressing the status of the older ones, creating a sense of déjà vu where the cycle of promises and silence repeats. This has led some to question whether this is simply a case of poor project management, or if there is something deeper going on behind the scenes. Is Latisha biting off more than she can chew? Is there a lack of real funding or infrastructure to support her ambitions? Or is there something more complex at play that fans and followers aren't privy to? As the drama unfolds, Latisha's business reputation and her role on Love and Marriage Huntsville may be at stake. The backlash is growing louder, and it will be interesting to see how she handles this latest round of criticism and whether she can regain the trust of her followers and investors. In the meantime, fans are left with more questions than answers, and social media is buzzing with speculation. Will Latisha rise above the controversy, or will this become another chapter in a long history of overpromises and underdelivery? Only time will tell. When it comes to real estate, construction, and business expansion, there's one thing that is absolutely essential: money. Big projects require substantial financial backing, investors, permits, and a team that can execute the vision. The real question, though, is whether Latisha Scott actually has the resources to complete the many projects she keeps announcing. This is where things start to get really interesting, as financial red flags are beginning to surface. Fans and critics alike are questioning whether Latisha and her husband, Celeb Scott, have the financial foundation to follow through on their grand announcements. The real estate and construction industries are expensive and highly competitive, and when projects stall or remain unfinished, it often signals issues with funding, permits, or business mismanagement. Let's break down some of the key financial red flags that have raised doubts about Latisha's ventures. One major concern is the sheer number of unfinished projects. Real estate development is a long game, but when someone repeatedly announces big plans without visible progress, it begins to look like a capital problem rather than a slow process. If Latisha had the resources up front, these projects would be moving forward at a steady pace, not remaining stagnant for months or even years. The lack of visible work on previously announced projects has left fans questioning whether she actually has the necessary funding to complete them. Moreover, Latisha and Marcel have been linked to multiple legal disputes in the past, with rumors circulating about contractor payment issues and missed deadlines. These legal challenges often point to deeper financial instability or issues with how a business is managed. If a company is struggling with multiple legal issues, it could indicate a lack of proper financial oversight, making it harder to trust in the viability of future projects. Another red flag is Latisha's tendency to make new business announcements without showing progress on the older ones. This has led to speculation that she may be using the excitement and hype surrounding one project to distract from the lack of movement on another. Each new announcement shifts attention away from the unfinished ventures, creating a cycle of promises that never seem to be fulfilled. Here's where things get even messier. Could Latisha be using love and marriage Huntsville for business clout? Being a reality TV star comes with a significant perk: free publicity. Anything Latisha talks about on the show immediately gets attention, which means she doesn't have to spend as much money on marketing. This has led to theories that Latisha may be leveraging the show's platform to attract investors, business partners, and funding, all while lacking the concrete plans necessary to execute these projects. Each season, we watch Latisha and Marcel discuss new business ventures, real estate investments, and expansion plans. But when the cameras stop rolling, how many of these projects actually come to life? If Latisha can convince the public and potential business partners that she's in the middle of something big, it could bring in the financial backing that wouldn't have been possible otherwise. But this raises the question, is this smart business strategy? Or is it just misleading marketing designed to generate buzz without any real substance? The situation becomes even more complicated when we consider Marcel's role in these business ventures. As a licensed general contractor and the head of Schultz Industries, Marcel is supposed to be the one managing the logistics of these projects and ensuring that they actually happen. However, over the past few seasons, we've seen signs that even he may be overwhelmed by the scope of their business operations. Marcel has expressed frustration over Latisha's ambitious plans and her desire to expand rapidly. He's admitted that running a business isn't easy, especially with all the expectations placed on them as a high-profile couple. Tension between the couple has even been evident on Love and Marriage Huntsville, with moments showing that Marcel doesn't always agree with Latisha's approach to their ventures. If Marcel, who is responsible for handling the construction and execution, is showing signs of stress and hesitation, it could be a significant warning that the projects aren't as solid as Latisha wants the public to believe. Now, the big question, is Latisha just overly ambitious, or is she knowingly hyping up projects she knows won't come to fruition? The answer could be even more surprising than anyone expects. The next piece of this puzzle is the growing backlash on social media. Social media can be both a blessing and a curse for reality TV stars. On one hand, it's a powerful tool to promote businesses, shape public perception, and connect with fans. But on the other hand, it's where the truth often comes to light, especially when the audience starts fact-checking claims and calling out inconsistencies. Latisha Scott has been getting dragged lately for repeatedly posting about unfinished projects as if they are much further along than they actually are. Fans have started to call her out, and they aren't holding back. It all began when Latisha posted about a new business move, a commercial real estate project that was supposed to be one of her biggest and most ambitious ventures. The way she described the project, you would think construction was already in full swing. But fans started asking questions. Where's the actual progress? One Twitter user shared side-by-side images of the same property taken months apart, with no visible changes in sight. The comparison sparked criticism, with one fan asking, why does every project she announces never seem to get finished? Another fan pointed out that similar announcements had been made in the past, only for those projects to fade into obscurity. One particularly savage response was shared, mocking the apparent disconnect between Latisha's public announcements and the actual progress being made. The backlash didn't stop there. Fans began to demand proof that Latisha's projects were more than just empty promises. They wanted to see actual progress, not just photos of properties that looked the same as they did months ago. This growing chorus of skepticism has led to even more questions about whether Latisha is genuinely executing her business plans or simply using them for publicity and attention. In the world of reality TV and business, where public perception can make or break a venture, Latisha Scott's reputation is now on the line. The question remains, can she prove her critics wrong, or will this pattern of unfulfilled promises continue to tarnish her business image? Fans are watching closely, and with each new project announcement, the pressure is mounting to show tangible results. At this point, many fans are saying they'll believe it when they see a grand opening. Until then, they see it as just another episode of fantasy and marriage Huntsville. This is a direct shot at Latisha and Marcel Scott, with fans questioning whether they're playing up their business success for the cameras rather than actually building anything real. The scrutiny intensified when Instagram detectives began to dig through Latisha's past posts, revealing a pattern of half-baked projects and misleading captions. For example, Latisha once teased a hotel project, showing concept drawings and hinting at her involvement in a large hospitality venture. Fast forward 2 years, and there's been zero progress. No official filings, no updates, and no mention of the project since. Another time, she posted about a restaurant space that was supposed to be a game-changer for Huntsville, sharing photos of an unfinished interior to give the impression that construction was actively underway. But months passed, and instead of an opening announcement, it faded into nothing. Fans started noticing a troubling pattern: recycled business announcements, identical language, and promises of something big that never seemed to materialize. This realization led to a full-blown social media investigation. Fans began asking if Latisha was overhyping her business ventures for clout, or if there was another explanation. Some believe it's a calculated PR move, designed to keep Latisha relevant on Love and Marriage Huntsville and maintain an image of being a powerful businesswoman. In the world of reality TV, image is everything, and if Latisha can convince the audience that she's a successful businesswoman in real estate, it could open doors, even if those doors aren't actually tied to real, completed projects. However, others think there might be a deeper issue at play, such as poor project management, financial struggles, or overambition. If Latisha and Marcel don't have the necessary investors or capital to see their projects through, that could explain why many of them stall. Permit approvals, land ownership issues, and other bureaucratic obstacles could also be to blame for the lack of progress. If Latisha is making business decisions based on PR rather than the reality of her financial situation, it could point to a case of her trying to maintain an illusion rather than admit that certain deals have fallen through. The fallout from Latisha Scott's ongoing business controversies is beginning to take a toll on her reputation, and it's not just about the social media dragging anymore. The real consequence could be the long-term impact on her business credibility, especially within the competitive real estate and construction industries. These sectors thrive on trust, reliability, and results. If investors, clients, or business partners start to believe Latisha isn't following through on her promises, it could severely limit her future opportunities. If projects remain unfinished and there's no evidence of tangible progress, it's understandable why some may question whether they should invest in her ventures. People need to see results, and when they don't, their willingness to back someone's projects diminishes. It's not just Latisha's reputation at stake. Her husband, Marcel Scott, could be affected as well. As the head of Schultz Industries, Marcel's construction company is directly linked to the success or failure of these business ventures. If his company continues to be associated with stalled or failed projects, it could hurt their bottom line in a significant way. It's clear that this situation is rapidly evolving, and the big question now is how Latisha will respond to this growing criticism. Will she finally provide concrete proof of progress, or will she double down on her previous claims and continue to dismiss the concerns of her followers? When a reality TV star gets called out, they have two options. They can address the controversy head-on or attempt to deflect and move on. Unfortunately for Latisha, her response to this growing backlash has only fueled the fire even more. Instead of providing clear evidence of her projects moving forward, Latisha's reaction has been a mix of vague statements, defensive social media posts, and dodging direct questions. As a result, fans are becoming increasingly frustrated and skeptical. At first, it seemed like Latisha was trying to ignore the critics. She continued posting on social media as though everything was normal, sharing motivational quotes, photos of herself and Marcel, and even promoting her businesses without acknowledging the mounting criticism. But the internet never forgets, and every time she posted, the comment sections were flooded with people asking about the progress of her unfinished projects. Fans directly tagged her, demanding answers like, "Where's the proof that anything is being built?" And another coming soon post, "How many times have we heard this before?" Instead of responding with tangible updates or receipts, Latisha either ignored the comments or deleted them altogether. However, things became even more intense when she finally broke her silence. After days of pressure, Latisha addressed the backlash in an Instagram live session. Fans hoped she would finally set the record straight, show proof, or at least explain why so many of her projects were taking longer than expected. But instead, what she offered was a vague speech about staying focused on her goals and not allowing negativity to distract her. Some key things she said during the session included, "People love to talk, but they don't know what's really going on behind the scenes," and "Success doesn't happen overnight. These things take time." She also added, "I know what I'm doing, and I don't have to prove anything to anybody." On the surface, that might sound like a confident response, but when you break it down, Latisha didn't actually answer any of the critical questions. She didn't provide any concrete proof or give an explanation for the stalled projects. She didn't address the receipts fans had uncovered about her previous business ventures that never came to fruition. Instead, her comments were a general defense that left the public with more questions than answers. Fans weren't satisfied with her response, and many saw it as a way to avoid addressing the real concerns. The situation became even more complicated when Marcel tried to do some damage control. As the head of the company responsible for executing these projects, Marcel's input could have helped clarify the situation. But instead of clearing things up, his response only seemed to make things worse. During a separate interview, he was asked directly about why some of their business projects hadn't moved forward. His answer? "There's a difference between planning a project and executing it. People don't understand the business side of things. We have multiple ventures happening at the same time. Some take longer than others. We're not rushing anything. When it's time, people will see what we've been working on." Once again, there were no actual details, no specific updates on individual projects, and no clear explanation as to why things seemed to be at a standstill. Instead, it was just more vague wording. Fans were quick to call him out, with one Twitter user aptly summarizing the situation. "Maro just gave us a whole lot of words and still told us nothing. Where's the actual proof?" Adding to the frustration, Latisha and Marcel's response to the growing backlash involved blocking and deleting critical comments, further alienating the very fans who were simply asking for transparency. This only amplified the perception that they weren't being honest or forthcoming with the public. By shutting down their followers and refusing to engage with valid concerns, it's becoming clear that their damage control efforts are not working. As it stands, Latisha's reputation is in serious jeopardy. If she doesn't address the concerns head-on and provide concrete evidence of progress, she risks losing the trust of her audience, investors, and business partners. Reality TV may provide temporary fame and exposure, but without the backing of real, successful business ventures, that fame won't be enough to sustain her long-term. The clock is ticking for Latisha to prove that her projects are more than just empty promises and that she can deliver on the bold announcements she's made in the past. Until then, the criticism will likely continue and her credibility will remain under fire. As the pressure on Latisha Scott continued to mount, her social media strategy took a turn for the worse. Instead of addressing the growing backlash, Latisha became more aggressive in blocking critics and deleting comments. Fans who had previously engaged with her Instagram posts started reporting that their comments were mysteriously disappearing. Some even claimed they were blocked after politely asking for updates on her business ventures. One user posted screenshots showing their comment asking about her real estate projects being deleted within an hour, while another claimed they were blocked after DMing her about the status of her ventures. Rather than providing transparency, it appeared Latisha was trying to control the narrative by silencing critics, but this backfired spectacularly. Instead of quelling the controversy, it only fueled it. The more she blocked and deleted, the more attention the situation garnered. The real issue at hand, however, is how all of this is affecting Latisha's business reputation. In the world of reality TV, it's often easy to brush off criticism as mere drama or jealousy. But when it comes to business, reputation is everything. Right now, Latisha's credibility as a businesswoman is being questioned in a major way. Potential investors are paying attention, and if they sense instability or uncertainty, they won't be eager to back her. No investor wants to put their money into a business that doesn't seem reliable or trustworthy. Other professionals in the real estate world are watching, too. Word spreads quickly, and if Latisha is seen as someone who talks big but doesn't deliver, it could be challenging for her to secure future deals. As a businesswoman, Latisha relies heavily on her credibility to promote brands, form partnerships, and expand her empire. If she can't maintain the public's trust, it's difficult to see how she can continue to grow her brand successfully. The question now is whether she can recover from this mounting controversy. There are only two ways this can go. First, Latisha could prove everyone wrong. If she starts showing real progress, posting official business filings, or even giving construction site tours, she could shut down the doubters and prove her projects are legitimate. This would not only restore her credibility, but also rebuild investor confidence. On the other hand, if she continues to ignore the backlash, block critics, and make vague excuses, the situation could spiral further out of control. The longer she avoids addressing the issue directly, the more her reputation will suffer. It's also worth noting that this isn't just about Latisha. If these controversies continue, Marcel's reputation could also be at risk, especially since his construction company is tied to these stalled projects. Their family's financial future could also take a hit if their business ventures fail to take off. So, what do you think? Is Latisha just being misunderstood, or is she playing a dangerous game by announcing projects that aren't materializing? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the biggest reality TV scandals. Trust us, this story is far from over.